Since the birth of the automobile some 100 years ago, each passing year of its life has seen it evolve through a steady flow of change and improvement. The horseless carriage of the early motoring pioneers shares little in common with the ultra-high efficiency, non-polluting, safety-enhanced cars we drive today. The cars of today, however, may someday seem as primitive as the tin Lizzies we scoff at from the turn of the century, because the imaginations of the engineers and designers who create our automobiles have long used a truly fascinating tool to help harness their inventive talents. And it's called the concept car.
Concept cars to me and to us at Chrysler are really a way of expressing ourselves and causing us to reach a little bit further than what we might otherwise do, because in many ways they're precursors to what we may be doing for production. They be just kind of an exercise in serendipity a little bit, where we want to explore a nostalgia theme, or we want to explore a very contemporary theme, or so they're an opportunity for us to express ourselves, an opportunity to really let things out, and they're very useful for that.
Most experts agree that the very first concept car was the 1939 Buick Y-Job, seen here at the Pebble Beach Concours. Designed by the legendary stylist Harley Earl at General Motors strictly as an idea test bed, it featured the industry's first power top, front fenders that blended into the doors, and a Harley Earl trademark, hidden headlights. 10 years later, Earl would create the Buick Lesabre, which boasted an aeronautical theme featuring aircraft-style fins and a simulated jet exhaust. While neither car was ever intended for mass production, when unveiled at some of the country's largest auto shows, public response convinced Detroit that the car-buying public was indeed intrigued with these glimpses of tomorrow.
A concept car is a look into the future to determine the directions that we might be moving in terms of new design for any car we're doing, design-wise and engineering-wise. And it gives us an opportunity to review these cars or display these cars. For the most part, they're displayed. Some concept cars are never shown, but most of them are shown to the public to gauge the consumer reaction.
Between 1950 and 1970, the big three, GM, Ford, and Chrysler, turned out a stunning assortment of concept cars reflecting styling and engineering freedom which had never before been seen.
Some of the things have been pretty outrageous over the years, and I think back to the 60s when we were predicting the jet age, and you look at all of the forms, especially the aircraft-inspired forms. Generally, there was some kind of an influence that you could trace this back to.
Some of the more ultra-radical concept cars included the Ford Nucleon, built in 1958, which was powered by a nuclear reactor. The Cadillac Cyclone, seen here at the GM Design Center, with its distinctive twin radar pods up front and unique sliding doors that have turned up today on various makes of minivans. And the Chrysler Turbine Car, built in the early 60s, powered by a gasoline turbine engine capable of being fueled by just about any combustible liquid, even cooking oil. The fanciful concept cars of the 50s and 60s would soon give way to a more practical and ecologically aware industry in the 1970s.
The original idea of the concept car is to show the world that something new was coming up, that something special and unique was coming up, so to attract the customer to be, let's say, coming to the showroom and buy something and remember there's something unique. It was more a styling exercise than a design exercise. In our days, we have to be a little bit more conscious, we have to be more credible, and we have to bear in mind that our role is to prepare the futures.
Today, the vast crop of concept cars emerging from the world's design studios borrow little from the whimsical dream cars of yesterday. This modern approach to the concept car has made heavy use of space-age materials to decrease weight, onboard computers for system diagnostics and global navigation, and spectacular applications of ergonomics to provide incredible comfort and occupant safety. And yet, along with all this steak, there still must be some sizzle.
A car has to have soul, it has to have excitement. It's this ingredient X, whatever this ingredient X is. Nobody can put their finger on it, but they'll recognize it when they see it, the customer, the designer. And the designer has this passion that allows him or her to put that kind of feeling, that expression, that passion into a design of a car. It's an absolutely essential ingredient. If the car doesn't have that, it just won't make it. It won't be recognized on the road as being unique or different or special. But when it happens, you recognize it, you know it, It's there, people want it, they buy it. And that's what this business is all about.
It's difficult to know exactly what kind of automobiles we'll be driving 100 years from today. But luckily, there seems to be no shortage of fertile imaginations and courageous free thinkers pondering that very riddle at this very moment and making the decisions as to what the wheels we'll be wild about will look like in the next century.